Right, this is a 2006 Ford Focus TDCI. It's got the engine warning light on, and the display is reading engine systems failure. It refers to the DPF filter. The engine's gone into safe mode, so the turbo is not working either now. So the DPF filter is blocked, and the garage will tell you the only way out of it is to replace the DPF filter, which generally they will charge £500 plus for, or you can buy a new filter unit yourself for about £250 and replace it yourself. But there's a much cheaper way of doing it if you're prepared to do the work, and that is to wash out the old filter. This of course involves taking it off. Now I've just done this and it's been successful, so I'm just going to go through the process now on what I've done. Firstly, you need to take off all these hose units here, undoing the bolts and removing them all. You can then swing this away by undoing the bolt just over here and one right down at the bottom. That sort of swings away out of the way. You'll also need to remove off the DPF filter and you can see that there's a little tube that goes into, which is the sensor. That needs to come off, and likewise down in here you can see there's two rubber hoses which just pull off. They need to come off as well. When you've done that, you can then start removing the heat shield, which is held on by a number of bolts, both on the top and on the sides. They're relatively easy to get to. This then comes away. It's a bit of a struggle to actually pull it out and out of the way, but it does come out with a bit of jiggery pokery. And then you can remove this, which is the back shield. That is easily removed. Once you've done that, you'll find that it's a large, big cylinder, which is then bolted onto the manifold with a Jubilee type ring thing, which you can undo quite easily, just held on with one nut. And then you'll find the big cylinder, which houses the catalytic converter and the DPF filter as one unit. It goes right down to the bottom there, so it's the same size as the heat shield pretty well much. So you then need to get underneath the car, take the tray off, which you've probably done already to get the bolt off down the bottom there, and work your way back, removing the bracket which holds on the part of the tube about immediately underneath the engine, and follow the tube back until it then meets the main exhaust pipe, which is right down the back here. You can't actually really see it, but essentially Ford in their wisdom have decided to have the nuts uppermost facing the engine on this connection. So the only way you can undo the nuts is to put a long extension bar with a universal joint on the end and a socket, and try and undo the nuts from this side. It's very awkward, and if they're as corroded as mine, you won't be able to get the nuts undone. The only way I could deal with the problem was to grind off the heads on the other side and then drill the bolts out with a nice sharp drill bit. Didn't take too long, it's just a bit of a nuisance. Then the DPF filter itself is held onto the engine with two bolts which are fairly down from the bottom. They're accessed from underneath the car. You undo those, and then the whole filter will then drop away, and you can bring it out from underneath the car. Then what you'll need to do is to backwash it by just using the garden hose. Is fine. Don't need to use a pressure washer because it's quite a long tube with a sort of a bit of bend in it, so therefore no point using a pressure washer. But to keep filling it up with water, giving it a really good shake and then pouring the water out, you'll find the water is quite a sort of a browny orange colour, and it took me about 3/4 of an hour in actual fact to actually get the water reasonably clean. Once that's done, bolt it all back together again. Fairly straightforward. The most difficult bit is getting this heat shield on again, but with a bit of jiggery pokery and a couple of bits of wood to sort of push it around a bit, it did go on. And then you'll need to take the car down to your local garage and ask them nicely if they'll plug in their computer and clear all the faults off the system, so the turbo will start working again. This should only take them a couple of minutes, and if you're in good relation with the garage, they'll probably do it for nothing. If not, you can off the net buy a little plug-in computer where you can plug it in and you can clear the faults yourself. I believe it's around £25, £20, something like that. But I just took mine down to the local garage and they did it for me. So far so good. Everything is working normally. No more warning lights have come on. It's certainly quite clear that this type of engine, which is I believe the Peugeot engine, requires a good thrashing up and down the motorway on a regular basis to get the DPF system to work properly so it regenerates. It's not suitable, this car, for just driving around on the short runs all the time. It just clogs up the filter. So what I'm now going to do is now get rid of this car because it's a pain in the backside, frankly. Anyway, hopefully that's been helpful, and good luck if you have the same problem.